Hey, what's up, my dudes? It's Wednesday at 2:47. Hopefully you're doing something cool because today I'm doing something totally rad, and that's installing our new rear window MOLLE panel for the Jeep Cherokee. As you can see, it's pretty awesome. Now let's show you how to install it. First thing I want to do is kind of show you what comes in a package. You're going to have the window MOLLE panel right here. Then from there, you're going to have a seatbelt bracket. This goes up behind the seatbelt. You have a bracket for the front that goes behind the rear seat back lock-in. Then you have this additional one that's going to come from this little screw hole back to the panel to secure the panel. So we're securing the panel in 3 spots in a triangle like that. You're also going to have hardware, just some button head screws and nuts and a large screw for this back to replace the one we're taking out of here. So anyways, this can be installed on the driver's side or the passenger side. I'm going to go ahead and install this one on the passenger side. In order to determine which way you're installing it, you're going to be looking at the top and you're going to see these 2 holes right here. Those need to go towards the front no matter which side of the vehicle you're putting it in. So anyways, let's get started with the install. So using an 8mm, we're going to remove these 2 bolts right here so that we can put this bracket behind it. Okay, so I got these 2 out. I'm going to go ahead and loosen this one. Just give me a little bit of space, as you can see. As you can see here, we're actually mounting in a pretty strong location. So this is a good sound location for this panel. So this is going to go here like so. Bracket's going to come back over, and then we're going to reinstall the screws. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this loose like that until we get the panel in. So now we're going to move up to this top one, and we're going to be taking out this Torx bit that holds the seatbelt in, and it's actually a T50 Torx, and we're going to go ahead and pull this out. Now, when I get this apart, I'll show you, but on certain models, we've noticed that these little spacers are pressed into the bracket, and on this model, it's actually free. So it doesn't really matter which way you have it. We've kind of designed around both ways. I'll just show you what we're talking about when I get it out. All right, so once you get that bolt out, you're gonna pull, there's gonna be this little like tab that goes kind of like up into the roof, so you're gonna have to fish that out. And then here's that spacer. On a couple other model Cherokees, we've noticed that this is actually pressed into here and it's one piece. On this truck, it's separate. So depending on what you're working with, we're gonna take this bracket right here, okay? The bend is gonna be going towards the back. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna fish it through like this, so that it's weaved through the seat belt. With the spacer or without the spacer, depending on if you have to set it on here, then the bolt's gonna go back through here like that, and then installed up back into the roof. So make sure you put that tab up into the roof hole before you thread your bolt back in. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and leave that loose. And now we're gonna go ahead and grab the panel and install the panel. Okay, so using the button head bolts, we're gonna go ahead and get this panel up in place, and then we'll install that last bracket. So it's gonna go behind the seat belt, like so. And what you're gonna wanna do is get the top one started first, kind of hold it all up into place. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and put one in the bottom here. As you can see, the panel is in front of both brackets. It'll also be the same way when we put that last bracket in. And now I'm going to install this last bolt up here. We're going to use a Phillips screwdriver to take out this screw right here. And it can be a little bit of a bear to actually fish the screw out once it's loose. All right, you can see there's the screw. We're going to discard that. Now we're going to use this last bracket, and you can see that it has a bend in it. The bend is going to go just like that, so the bracket is going to be going up and in towards the window. We're going to use one of these button head bolts through the bottom hole of the MOLLE panel And we're gonna go ahead and get that started loosely like that. Okay, so now what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna pull back on the panel to line up our screw. So we're gonna take our screw that came with the hardware kit. It's gonna go in the hole here. It's gonna be longer because we're on the outside of the panel as opposed to inset into the panel. So we're gonna go ahead and get this started. Like so. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna wanna install everything good and tight now. But what we're gonna wanna do is we're gonna wanna make sure the panel is where we want it. As you can see, I have a lot of ways I can move this panel around. So you're gonna wanna eyeball it, making sure that you square it up. I'm gonna start in the front with those 8mm bolts. And then I'm gonna do the seat belt and then work my way back to the back here. And then we'll be all done. So you're gonna be using a 3/16 Allen for all of the button head bolts to tighten them up. We use a flange on the back, so all you have to do is kind of hold it tight with your finger, and then from there, once it grabs, you can tighten it right up. You're gonna wanna make sure that when you have this panel final installed like it is, that it's actually not undercutting your seatbelt like that. You want the seatbelt to work without rubbing against the panel, just like that. So as you can see, install's pretty easy. Now let's load it up with gear. I'll show you guys what you can haul around. Okay, so I have everything hung up here. As you can kind of see, I have some of the essentials that you may want to carry: tow strap, a hatchet, a flashlight, first aid kit. Now, if you put a panel on both sides, you're going to be able to double up on your essentials and get them up out of the floor, out from under your seat. If you put them in a bag, wherever it is, it's nice to have everything at like quick arm reach if you need it. So as you can see, we're just using Velcro straps. These are a 1-inch hook loop Velcro strap to allow us to strap stuff on. Then you can, from there, you can buy all kinds of MOLLE accessories. Like this is a flashlight holder, and any flashlight can kind of fit into there. When you're shopping for MOLLE pouches, that's what they're called, technical name. Amazon's a good place to find them, to buy them. You're going to want to make sure that you're measuring ahead of time, so you don't buy a bag that takes up your whole window and that's not what you want. So make sure you look at the dimensions carefully in the descriptions when you're buying your MOLLE pouches. Anyways, we also have these bolt locations here that you can use quick fist locations. So if you wanted to use a quick fist for your axe or your hatchet or whatever it is, you can bolt those in here. If you wanted to mount a fire extinguisher, the best way to do it would be to mount it on the bottom down here horizontally so that it's closer to the two mounts. So from down here, and then there are holes down here that you'd be able to mount a fire extinguisher there. So anyways, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, info@JcrOffroad.com, or give us a call at 269-353-1184, and let's hit the trail.